weeks yesterday.
Oh, good job, dude.
Yeah, I'm ready, but like it's either the Moderna or the Pfizer. Like I'll be happy, like either one.
With either.
Yeah. You know what? Listen, I'd like it to be Pfizer because apparently that's the most effective. But
Yeah. I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. This is the After Party After Show. With me, of course, is Simply Secular Dave and Glenn. And I'm going to just kill the volume on that. All right. So congratulations on getting your appointments for getting the vaccine, dude.
Yeah. Because then I can finally travel. Maybe make it down to your area sometime because that's one of the places I've always. Boston is kind of on my bucket list. That whole Boston, Maine.
Boston's a pretty cool place. I have no idea. Yeah, Boston is Boston, Cambridge. It's a pretty cool area, definitely.
Yeah. Something I want to touch on, if you guys don't mind.
Huh? Something
I kind of made a joke about earlier, the last time I was on, about Candace Owens and Candace Owens and Kanye West,
right?
Because the thing is, this is like, is it can I call them sellouts? Because I know I can do it to Ben Shapiro, because Ben Shapiro sold. I'm a Jew, so Ben Shapiro sold out his people when he decided to fund that Mandalorian actresses on his production company, because he signed her up to his production company after she made those horrific comments about comparing Republicans to Jews, But
yeah,
can I call a person a sellout? Is it like stepping over a line? I'm wondering. Like, what do you think?
I'll say this is that looking the way that I look, I find, hey, Rage is here too. I think depending on the room that you're in, that it could be okay. Yeah. If people understand the intent. Like I have said very controversial things on stage, but only after I've spent a lot of time building up my cred with the audience. And so that's one of the tricks that we use to say really controversial things.
Because the thing is, now I don't like Candace. I don't know anyone there with a brain that actually likes Candace Owens, but that's because not because of whether or not she's a sellout, just because she's not only a unintelligent, bumbling moron,
right,
but she said, well, what she once said about if Hitler just stuck to Germany, that would have been fine. So it was okay to murder German Jews,
What she said about George Floyd. I mean, she literally read his arrest record out on one of her streams.
Yeah. Oh, she combines stupidity and being scum of the earth, and I can say that, and it's the same thing. It's like, and it disappoints me when you on both sides when you misappropriate history, and when you, for instance, she said that after slavery ended, the black people were fine. Forget Jim Crow. Forget, I mean, she's, and Kanye West saying that slavery was a choice. It's like, it's just sometimes you hear Kanye West speak, and I think honestly he's admitted that his wife said that he has got mental issues, which not surprising.
I believe he's bipolar.
He had a breakdown after his mother died, and what happened with Kanye West, because Kanye West back in the day was a pretty big advocate for black people rights, for civil rights for black people, but Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens approached him as he's going through this mental disorder, and it literally took like 24 hours and pretty much brainwashed this guy into this conservative free black thing. And he did it for a while. He's still a Trumper, but I think he eventually got away from Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens.
No, but I mean, you see, for me, obviously, I just thought he was like, it seems minuscule compared to the other shit he's done, but when he went up on stage with the whole Taylor Swift thing, it was bullying, and I can't stand it bullying. And
this is true. Yeah,
and it just annoys me because from what I can understand, he's not a stupid person.
No,
he's quite a smart person. No, so to hear him say this stuff just annoys me.
It's the question of the Hamlet. It's the Hamlet dilemma, right? You know that Hamlet is a really smart guy, and he tells you he's going to put on this act, but then like 10 minutes later on in the film, you're thinking to yourself, I think he's gotten himself some mental issues, and he's kind of confused about what's the act and who he is now. Yeah. And you see that a lot with performers too. You see a lot of people just becoming the thing that they at first just thought was going to be an act. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that, it's sometimes, and I think it also sometimes works really in tragic instances where actors or performers need to live up to that, and it ends up killing them. And that's that tragic. I think that
especially if you're in a business that requires you to be at the forefront of Twitter consistently. Or on TikTok or YouTube, you there's an incentive to be crazy,
I've had several conversations with John Schneider, the guy who played Bo Duke on The Dukes of Hazzard originally, and he was also in Supernatural, which was filmed here in Vancouver, and he is drunk on the what do you call it, the Southern atmosphere and his group of fans, and he will feed the fire.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know if he's doing that because he is proud of the South and that's who he is to the core. He genuinely speaks about caring for people and donating to charities and putting his time forth, to those in need, and then turns around and craps all over them. And it's really difficult to know whether this is his persona, if this is his character, or if this is who he really is and he's just that messed up.
Yeah. I always, it's also what I've noticed, and it's not, I don't think it's just recently, is that when you become famous, you stop. I'm not saying you quit being human, because they obviously they still can be very caring and stuff, but you become a brand.
Yeah.
And it's about, if you want to stay at the top, you have to play the game. You have to market yourself. So,
you see that with guys like Dave Rubin, right? I mean, that's a guy who just completely lost all sense of perspective over time.
Yeah.
He straight up sold out. Dave Rubin just sold out. He is grifter.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying about
Candace
Ben
Owens.
Shapiro, because Ben Shapiro is an Orthodox Jew, but then he signed someone up to his production company that misappropriated Republicans and compared them to people in the Warsaw ghettos. And I mean, you claim to be this religious, devout, Orthodox Jew who's I think I read, just because I just wanted to look up on his exact where his religious thing. I think his younger sister is an opera singer and has had anti-Semitic shit thrown at her. Yeah. And then you go and sign up a person that I can't, obviously being of Jewish heritage, anti-Semitism is for me one of the most evil things. What she said wasn't anti-Semitism; it was misappropriation.
He grifts for white supremacists all the time.
Yeah. Well, it's hey, listen. If you, I've always said that if I had no soul, I'd become a mega preacher, because it's grifting. There's at the top of that, I'm sure there's people that grift on the left. I'm almost certain there's people that now the right is just a lot better at it. The right just
there's money. There's big business on the right. That's the real difference between the left and the right. Is anyone else getting an echo?
No.
Okay, cool.
No. Yeah. Well, right. It's the same thing. Well, she isn't the smartest person, but Tommy Lauren, the girl in college was straight up liberal. Yeah. And then she realized, hey, I can say stupid shit and make a ton more money being right wing,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then of course the one time she was honest about being pro-choice, that got her kicked off.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it does seem like, over the past, I don't know, 15 years especially, that there has been your stage actors that are really propagating the extreme right rhetoric. And yeah, they'll get huge national audiences, and it sucks in mainly young people that absorb that media. The demographics are changing, but it was primarily young people absorbing internet media, and older people were still watching television. So it was a networking gimmick. And, like you speak about Candace Owens, she was a liberal as well. She had a site online that was committed to doxing right-wing extremists. And then left-wingers turned against her because, doxing, like that's not cool if you're just going to dox everybody. So that's when she started grifting for the right. She flipped out. She flipped her stance and totally became like some right-wing extreme white supremacist black person.
I think you can make an argument that Donald J. Trump is someone just like that. He was all intense liberal.
He was atheist and liberal. I mean, always was an atheist, and now he's like a born-again Christian. Come the fuck on.
Yeah, exactly, Greg. Exactly.
That is the beautiful thing about what he did, and you have to appreciate it. He was a left-wing, non-drinking, liberal dickhead. Yeah. And he basically wrangled everyone in the opposite party because that was the party he could target with his tactic and win. And he did it flawlessly.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the thing is,
my girlfriend always is here. Go ahead, Glenn. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying, like, all these people, like, are smart in a way, but also incredibly stupid in a way. Like Candace Owens, and all these are great at knowing how to grift. But if you put some sense of try to get a sense of intelligent discussion with them, literally when I said like that whole thing about am I smarter than a fifth grader, then none of them they'd get outsmarted by a first grader, Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is Trump got into power that way, and there were a lot better ways for him to actually get things done. I mean, they put a lot of judges in place, but that wasn't his doing. That was the leaders of the party. But he could have actually done a lot worse for America had he been smart enough to have figured it out, had he been the guy who was, able to play the game, able to sit down at a table and negotiate. If he was a master negotiator, if he was somebody with seriously ill intent for the country, it could have gone a lot worse.
I want to point this out too. I just for a second, there's this saying about I don't have to be faster than the bear. I just have to be faster than you.
Yeah.
I don't have to be smarter than every single person in the room to be a Republican candidate. I just have to be smarter than the base.
Exactly. Well, I always said I joke around when I work as a waiter. You guys can run out of the bill. I just need to catch the slowest one of you. And that kind of plays into that. I mean, and the thing that, like I said, that now, do you think Donald Trump, like he imposed some stuff to feed his base, but do you think like he would really want to go all out and, for instance, take the Klan, like make the Klan an official party, or did he just, because you say that I think it was what you, Rage, or was it you, Dave, that said about how he could have done a lot worse. Do you think he really wanted to, or he just wanted to stay in power?
Oh no, he was after power for sure.
Yeah. I think he's definitely after power. I think he placates to racist. I know his dad was a racist, but I mean, there's really, I mean, from Donald Trump's personal life, I don't think he's actually a racist. I just think he placates to them for power.
Well, I don't know. There's a lot of stories about when he was running the whole where he wouldn't, him and his thing wouldn't rent to or sell to minorities in New York and stuff like. And his whole thing with the Central Park Five. I think he really could. I think he's.
Yeah, I mean, he could be. I think he's got definite latent racism. His dad was definitely a racist. There's no doubt about that. I mean, his dad was a pure white supremacist, attended KKK meetings. He has a fairly decent history of at least employing and empowering black people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of with it, it's kind of hard to figure out what's fact and what's fiction with him when it comes to the racism.
Yeah. Well,
if Trump had been more concerned with the political aspects of what he was doing and not the financial aspects of how he could exploit it, he could have dug in a lot deeper, and he didn't lose that election by much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that if he would have won again, or if he wins again and becomes president again, he'll have people around him that will be able to work the system a lot better than before. I think it'd be the second term would definitely be a lot more dangerous than the first.
Well, it's interesting you should say that, Rage. I just want to make a point, is that typically it's the concurrent second term that democracy dies. You look at President Erdogan in Turkey, you look at Putin, it's the second concurrent term. Now, whether or not it would still apply for a second term if he's had 4 years in between the two terms, that would be an academically interesting thing to see, though horrific at the same time.
And I do want to clarify, like, you know, if you placate to racist for power, that in turn makes you a racist. You know, like, I don't care about your personal motivations. I don't care what you really think or who you've empowered throughout your life. If you placate to the worst of us, that makes you the worst of us.
Well, you see, I think it's actually worse. If you think about it this way, if he's just an inbred, a knuckle dragging dumbass racist, that's the way he was brought up. But if he's willing to watch Rome, like in essence, watch Rome burn just to get power, that makes him actually worse in my mind. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You know, racism out of ignorance and just how you were raised, you can't really, you know, I don't really put that on the person. I see those people as changeable, but racism, like what we're describing from Donald Trump, is on a completely different level.
Yeah. What you were saying about how he'd be more dangerous if he got in again. First off, I think we'll see how much power he has left in the next year in the midterms, because if you get a lot of Trump people in nominees wise, like people that Trump still support, then you could see a shift and he might get in again.
He's starting up his rallies again for the people he's supporting in the midterms. So he's going to be touring the country, doing his Trump rallies for all of these awful people that he's trying to take over the Republican Party, is what he's trying to do right now.
But what you were saying is you think it's going to be worse. The thing is, this is the only thing that will stop it from being worse if he gets in president. God, I hope he doesn't. But, you know, if he gets in again as president, it's simple. The thing that will stop him from the people around him is Donald Trump himself, because he can't get out of his own way. And that's what truly stopped him from absolute power in the 4 years was himself. Plain and simple. That's all it was.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's going to be Donald Trump. I don't think he's going to really live that long. I mean, even if he's alive, he's going to be so old as to not be viable. But I mean, his moron son Don Jr. would be like even infinitely worse, I think.
Yeah.
You do seem to have an echo, Glenn. I don't know if there's any way you can rectify that, sir.
That was me. Sorry, that was me. I jumped on my other screen and the audio popped on.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good.
Comment.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you see, the thing is, this is what, as bad as Trump would be, and I say this as bad as Trump would be, I would probably actually take Trump over someone like Cruz or any of the other ones, because Trump is the devil, you know, and he's really ineffective as a leader. Those other ones could really get the base, get the base and do some horrible things.
Here's the ironic part about it, is that Trump was a candidate that could win because Trump is good on camera and he knew how to maul people on camera too. And the other candidates would not have won against Hillary Clinton because they were traditional candidates. And that's the twist to the story there.
Trump he's always been able to manipulate the media, and that's something that he has up on other politicians. Politicians play the media's game. Trump manipulates them.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Andy, on that point for the last election. But Trump has built the base. The base now exists. And it's not going to take much for somebody like somebody else in the Republican Party.
Josh Hawley is who I worry about.
Far more capable as a despotic leader to jump in and co-opt that base and say, you know, Trump didn't get anything done. I want everything he wanted, but I'm going to kick everybody's ass in Washington and make it happen,
well,
right?
We can see this through history. There's typically someone who's actually smarter and paying attention to what the first guy is doing. So you can take a look at Julius Caesar versus Augustus, right? Is that Julius Caesar gets stabbed a bunch of times by the Senate, and then Augustus comes in, Octavian Augustus, and then sees, oh, this is what you don't do. Then I think I'm just going to take basically the same playbook, just tweak it a bit. And so, yeah, someone like Josh, like you were saying, could easily do something like that.
But you see, the thing is Josh Hawley might have the same racist tendencies, might have the same cuckoo ideas as Trump. But he really doesn't have Trump's magnetism. And I hate to give Trump credit for anything, but the guy's a magnetic guy when it comes to speaking live. Even though he talks absolute bullshit, he gets people's attention.
Well, it's his gutter mentality. He wasn't afraid. Like a lot of those politicians didn't want to be painted with the brush of they went to the lowest common denominator every time they opened their mouth. And Trump was like, I am going to go as low as I possibly can and possibly lower than that because nobody else is down there and that's where I can live and rule.
Yeah, I think the trick to Trump was very simple, and I think anybody can take it up. I think the right is rabid, and they finally had a politician telling them literally to punch the liberals in the face. I mean, how many times did he say that during his rallies? And it would become like a blood frenzy in his rallies. And I think anybody can tap on that. I think that his base is politically motivated to do violence and have been for quite a while. And that's how Trump won.
Yeah.
But like I said, I just don't think the other candidates have the have the personality to get to do what's necessary to win, because the fact is that whether or not people like him, and he's not obviously the most liberal, he's not the liberal president, but okay, it's only the first 3 months, but Biden's approval ratings are very good.
Well, they're good.
Even Republican voters are liking him as well. So
Yeah. The thing is about approval ratings at this point in the cycle, in the election cycle, is that they don't mean anything.
Yeah, true.
And the thing is, what Trump is really good at, right? Looking at how he does his campaign, is that he's good at surging, right? He's good at being tactical about when he makes the big push. Yeah. And so right now he doesn't care. Right now he's laying groundwork. He's putting out his blog. He's putting his toes back in, but he's not ready to surge until it's time that he believes that he's ready to surge.
Yeah. It's I know it's a depressing fact because and it's happening around the world. Like populists guys are just playing to the lowest common denominator, and that happened in England with the whole Conservatives and Brexit. It happened to an extent here in Ontario with Ford, and it's unfortunate because it's not playing to anything other than fear, and it's.
Well, what's interesting is once again in an academic sense is that we had really a high point, a high tide of democracy, after. In the 1990s, in the early aughts, and the pendulum swings both ways. So we were at a high tide after the end of the Cold War, and now it's swinging back again, unfortunately.
What's crazy about Trump is he made it obvious that he idolized North Korea's leader, and if there's anything more un-American than North Korea, I don't know what it is. For F's sake, right? For fuck's sake, there are people who, guys, there are people who fought in the Korean War who are voting for Trump.
I mean, what I find to be the most insane is like. He got Republicans to embrace Russia. I can't tell you how many Republicans wearing T-shirts saying like better Russia than Democrats or something along those lines. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is that that it's like you say, one, it's a cult of personality, but the thing is this is that he also, you see, everyone says he had a cable news channel, the Fox, and then after that OAN and stuff like that. But what he had, granted, they those people, like when Obama wanted to meet with North Korea, oh, it's evil. What the hell are you thinking? When Trump, oh, this is statesman-like. Forget that. But the fact that you have all these cable news networks, whether it be CNN, whether it be all those news networks, gave Trump how much free advertising during the first campaign. I mean, they said, hey, here, just be your ridiculously bad self, and they covered it because one, I don't know whether they thought it was. I don't think it was just done on purely to ratings, because at that point you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If you don't cover the guy who's leading the race in the Republican primaries, you're accused of being you're accused of only being liberal. And if you do cover him, you're giving this disgusting person airtime. So
I don't want two things. One, I want to say hello to Clockwork Rex. How are you doing, sir?
Heyo.
And two, it's like, another thing is that, I don't blame the networks as much as I blame the other candidates as not being able to level up their game. If they see what he is doing, then you have to be able to operate in the middle of the game and change your tactics, change your strategy, and to operate properly. But like I said before, Trump is more like a stand-up comedian than anything else. He knows how to play people. He knows how to riff on people. He knows how to demolish people and might do these mic drop movements.
Yeah. Well, you can't forget, like, I do blame the networks for 2016 because they love Trump. They love the ratings that Trump brought. You can't forget that it was Trump, when he won, that fired the first shots at CNN. And that started that war. It was like day 3 of his presidency. And it started a war with the media from day 3. Up until that point, CNN loved him. They would show empty podiums of Donald Trump rallies as Bernie Sanders was bringing in thousands upon thousands of people having a live rally, not showing Bernie Sanders, but showing a damn empty podium waiting for Donald Trump. I blame the media and their bias for Bernie Sanders' loss in 2016. They gave Hillary and they gave Donald Trump free airtime nonstop, but they gave nothing to Bernie. In fact, if they talked about Bernie, they talked negatively.
I don't want to blame the victim here, and I'm going to sound like I'm blaming the victim. But knowing that Bernie was going to have everything against him that he had, he just wasn't the guy to get the ball over the goal line, basically. And you saw it both times. And I'm a big Bernie supporter too. If Trump decided to be a progressive, if he decided to be a democratic socialist, he might have been able to do it.
Well, no, I think in 2016, Bernie, if Bernie would have gotten fair coverage on the news media networks, he would have turned the tide. Like, that dude went from 5% to like almost beating one of the big major powerhouses, political powerhouses in the history of our country. And he did it really with very little airtime. He did it through a grassroots movement. Like, Michigan went to a socialist. Like, that's never happened before, ever.
But you see, the thing that I've always said, and I said this on a previous after show, was I don't think he's like what you guys consider socialist is not socialist at all.
Yeah, he's not. He's a progressive. He's not socialist.
No. I mean, so what the USA considered socialism is pretty much middle of the road politics in any other damn country. So
yeah, that's true.
And I mean, that was his big mistake in 2016 was, embracing the right wing, calling him a socialist. And he's done it ever since. He's not a socialist. He's a civil rights progressive. It's what he's always been.
And like I said, you can call him a socialist. You can call him whatever you want. But the fact is that he's not a socialist. And I said on a previous one again, you want to get these people elected. Take the word socialist out of it and just call themselves progressives or something, because the branding is killing them.
Yeah. It's that red scare. It's ingrained in our country. We're afraid of communism and socialism.
Guys, I have to bounce. I got dispatched for work, so I'll see you tomorrow.
Good
Yeah,
seeing
I
you,
gotta
Dave.
go as well. I gotta head out. I'll hopefully see you guys sometime next week. Have a great weekend, guys.
Take care, Glenn.
Oh yeah, have a good one.
See you, Glenn.
You too, guys.
Well, I half agree with you, Knock. It was partly the media's fault, but it was also the DNC's fault because they were like had a super hard on for Hillary for some fucking reason, and they screwed Bernie.
She was pretty much she was the money for the DNC during that election, so she was pretty much the boss.
Bernie was in the same position as Trump was. Bernie had to like destroy people to get the nomination, and Trump was able to destroy people within the Republican Party. You can argue the fact that the Republican base is just more mean and stupid, and so that's why Trump was able to do it. But yeah, Bernie would have had to have destroyed the institutional Democrats, or to co-opt them, to devour the party to win. And for whatever reason, we were able to do it. We still do.
In 2020 he just got too old, and that's one of the reasons why, I don't think Trump stands a chance again, because even his followers are going to look at him and be like, dude, you could literally die at any moment, right?
Well, that's fair. But Trump has this cult of personality that follows him around.
Yeah.
It's not that they support his policies. It's because he was on TV for all those years and did all this other stuff. And, he built up this cult of personality, kind of like Ronald Reagan did back in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
And Reagan was a guy who knew how to work the mic, too, right? Similar skill sets.
And like I said, he is the guy that told them that they could do what they've been thinking about doing for a long time. Like they do not like liberals. Like if you listen to Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, we are painted as, anti-democracy. We are the communists. The communists are coming. We are the Red Scare. They're still perpetuating that.
Yeah, we're the new Red Scare. Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
We're the godless Reds. That's what we are.
That's right. Hey, what's wrong with red? God damn it. I mean, come on now.
Well, Trump ruined it.
Ruined it. He did.
He did.
Yeah.
Every time I see a red hat now, I'm like, damn it. And then I see it'll be like a Kansas City Chiefs hat. And I'm like, all right, you're cool. You're cool.
I have a red hat. I have a red hat and I can't wear it. I'm not going to wear it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a red Hogwarts hat, and I can't wear it for several reasons now.
Oh, that's sad. Well, I've got a black Batman hat, and I wear that subbitch everywhere. So
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I have my Rick and Morty hat.
It's got the old like 80s Batman symbol on it. Where he had that yellow thing on his chest.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton wore. Yeah, it's an old school one. Cost
like
$3. And it had a tag on it that said a dad hat. I was like, what?
Dad hat. That's great. That's great.
Well, at least the new Batman's gonna twinkle. That's a Robert Pattinson joke. So.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's all sparkly.
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna get a Flash hat, but his is red, and I was like, well, I'm glad I didn't now.
Yeah, and the Mad Ducks wears one of those, so you don't want to be equated to the Mad Ducks.
Well, fair enough.
Like every time he wears that damn Flash hat, and I'm like, that was my favorite Justice League character, and now you've just ruined it for me.
Yeah, just killed it. Yeah, the Flash was cool because he could run faster than Superman. He beat Superman in a race. So
I just watched that on YouTube yesterday again.
Oh, did you? That's cool. Yeah, it's cool.
I don't think he could beat Golden Age Superman, because Superman was basically, back in the 50s and everything, he was like God for all intents and purposes.
Oh yeah, he was ridiculously overpowered. Yeah.
I mean, Christopher Reeve Superman was so fast he could reverse the spinning of the earth. So
yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And then I saw the Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. And spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that, he does it again in the end of that movie. So
really? Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. Watch the Richard Donner cut. Yeah.
I'm biased. I grew up in the era, and Christopher Reeve Superman was like my childhood hero. In fact, like I'd tie like sheets around my neck and jump off the stairs to because I thought I could fly, and that didn't work out so well.
Yeah.
Superman was a solid movie. It was a solid movie. Great soundtrack. a good film all around.
Well, I heard, now this is just what I heard, I might be wrong, that they filmed the first Superman and the second Superman, Superman 2 with Zod and all of them back to back. Yeah.
I don't know if they did. I'm not sure.
I think I read that on IMDb that they filmed them like back to back.
Yeah,
Right.
I think I've heard something about that before.
Kneel before Zod.
Neil. Yeah.
Superman 2 is probably my favorite. That was probably the best one to me. Because that's the one where it starts out at the waterfall and Christopher Reeve saves the little girl, I believe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it sticks out like in my childhood memories.
Well, Superman 3, the one with Richard Pryor in it, that because it had Richard Pryor in it, that's got like a special place in my heart too.
No, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was like prime time self-destructive Richard Pryor too, as I recall.
Oh yeah, that was full blown. Yeah, let's do some coke, Richard Pryor. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I remember those days. My dad would let us watch Richard Pryor. We weren't allowed.
I always like to bring up.
We could watch George Carlin though, and I never understood like the atheist references until I was an adult. You know.
Yep.
Oh right.
I always like to point out that Richard Pryor did co-write Blazing Saddles, and he was going to be
the sheriff.
he was going to play the sheriff until the studio said Richard Pryor takes too much coke.
That's fair. That was a fair statement back then. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried it once. I don't see what all the big fuss is about. You know, I've always been a weed guy. It just didn't float my boat.
Well, you know, my sister was a big cokehead. Andy talks about Dark Past. Yeah, my sister was a big cokehead, but she was also a sociopath too. So, as many of you know, who know anything about sociopaths, is that they're always looking to be stimulated, right? So, yeah. So
yeah, I know a functional cokehead. I mean, goes to work every day. She does her thing, but like I've never been able to understand it. It's just like it's not my thing. I'd be trying to do like a million things at once.
Great. Are you telling me that someone that you know that may or may not be in the restaurant industry does coke? I am shocked.
Yeah. Maybe 80% of all of them.
Oh yeah, dude, because it's such a crazy business.
Yeah. Like, well, I'm trying to get out of going in tonight. Like, I can't walk, and I'm actually staff tonight. I'm not management, so like I'm gonna have to be able to walk. So I'm trying not to go in because it's crazy. You got to be up on your game.
Yeah.
You know, them young folks, man. They can run some circles when they're going.
Definitely.
Oh, that one. I watched the movie. Have you ever seen the movie called Waiting?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That was very fun. Ryan Reynolds, young Ryan.
Yeah,
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds.
We love that movie in the business.
Anna
we
Faris.
absolutely love that movie.
The only thing I didn't like is they didn't show anybody doing coke. They were all smoking weed and drinking and you know, smoking pot. And I was like, no, that's not how that works.
Back in the day, I may have been smoking pot in the walk-in, maybe.
Oh, you were the dudes doing the whippets sitting in the freezer.
and it's dominant still dominant through all the business. Like I've worked in every facet of the restaurant business. I've worked high end, I've worked low, family owned restaurants. I've managed, I've served, I've bartended, I've cooked, I've done everything. And I currently pretty much just manage. Every once in a while I'll go on staff when I need to. But it's like that everywhere. Your high-end restaurants, they're all on coke. Your family-owned restaurants, it's a bunch of potheads and drunks. You know, I mean, it's dominant in the industry.
Oh yeah, I've worked at several restaurants too, and I mostly did the cooking, which is
me too.
Fortunately, that's why I could cook halfway decent now. I mean, I do okay.
And frankly, as management, you have to look the other way because if you were to take a stand on it, you'd lose all of your employees.
Yeah, everybody'd be gone. It'd be you. You would be doing it.
Yeah, definitely. If you're telling people you can't fuck each other and you can't do drugs, no one would be working in the business.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the other aspect of it. Like I watch it. It's kind of funny to me. They all fuck each other.
Oh yeah.
I just sit back. My old ass just sits back and watches, and like that used to be me 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, and the funniest part of that movie, Waiting, was they didn't let the dude guy say anything until like the party at the end of the movie, and then he just got pissed off and was like, "Look, fuck all of y'all," and did the goat thing or whatever they were doing, the show your nuts game or whatever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And got everybody in the whole apartment. That was.
Yeah, I've come to the unfortunate conclusion that because of my my foot issues, I'm probably gonna have to like quit the business, and it's the business that I've always done. So it's kind of scary. I'm gonna pretty much be starting from scratch, doing something that I just don't do.
Right.
It sucks, but like I really have no choice. I can't do it. I can't do it no more.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks. But I'll probably get better insurance out of it though. So. Because shitty insurance. Nobody has insurance in that business. Nobody. Some of the cooks do. Some of the cooks, the cooks usually get it.
The full-time people kind of get it, but they're mostly just part-time people because they'll stop them short of being full-time.
Sure.
Yeah, your servers and bartenders will usually have an option, especially in chain restaurants, but it's just not affordable for them. So you just don't take it.
Right. I know that when I was unemployed, I'm on my girlfriend's insurance. I don't think I'm telling tales out of school or anything like that. But if I wasn't on her insurance, and I would just be on Mass Health, which is pretty much, I would have been on Mass Health, which is pretty much the insurance for poor people here in Massachusetts.
Was that the Romney thing?
That was before Romney. That was before the Romney thing, because Mass Health is just something that people with disabilities are on. The super poor people, which I would have easily have taken that august honor, and people on assistance basically, or people who work at Walmart, or another who don't have insurance. Basically, they would go on Mass Health.
Yeah, most of the restaurant staff is on, like state health.
Yeah, which is insane, right? That's how can you working 32 hours a week and then still not be able to get insurance from your employer?
Yeah, and a lot of them are really young, college-bound kids, but a lot of them are lifelongers, and they have families and they have children. It's really. The restaurant business has a lot of issues with it. And I don't know, maybe one day it'll change, but I really don't see it because there's just so much money in it. It's hard to make money in it, but once you start making money, it's there's only
one viable solution, and that is basically the state paying for to make the system viable, long-term sustainable, is that the state has to do universal basic income. The state has to do insurance for everyone. These are like basic human rights, because the way that the economy is moving, the way how the workplace is moving over time, it isn't just people. And I'd like to say this again because it's important. It isn't just blue collar people who are going to be on the shit end of the stick. It's going to be these white collar people too, because AI is going to be taking a lot of those low level white collar jobs.
You already see it, like in the restaurant business. There are literal restaurants coming out that's pretty much completely ran by machine now. And you'll have like two workers, two people that occupy it, but and you go into a Chili's now and they have you can order everything right there at at your table. You can pay for it. I mean, it's already starting to condense, and AI is going to take over, and most of these jobs are going to go away. I mean, really, Biden's smart by starting the infrastructure thing right now, if he can actually get it passed and moving, because really the only work for the next 20, 30 years is going to be rebuilding the infrastructure. After that, UBI becomes a necessity.
Yep, true enough. And especially when you have artificial intelligence driving cars, because there's a huge amount of guys out there, a lot of people with high school diplomas, and that's how they make a good middle class income, is by driving trucks around. And when
and it's going to go sooner than later now, because finally we're starting to see some really big disruptions in the supply chain due to the pandemic and having human drivers. So that's going to be an argument for AI taking over the trucking industry, which was always going to be the first to go. Always.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Boston might be one of the last refuges that we have humans driving trucks because the roads are so fucked up here.
Well, that's what got me when I watched the movie Logan. Do you remember that one scene where the farmers got run off the road? All those trucks were AI.
Oh, I saw that.
That freaked me out a little bit.
Well, even for cross-country travels in Australia, I know they already have AI trucks because it's just basically driving straight from one end of the country to the other.
Oh, yeah, I mean, they can do crazy things right now. It's just testing it enough for it to be public safe. Like they from what I read, they actually made the flying car. Like it was going to be like the Jetsons, but through testing, it's just not public safe. You're talking about a fucking disaster of world epic proportions. And there I go with the F word again. Sorry, Andy.
That's okay. I've been swearing quite a bit. I've already given up today in terms of. Though someone did buy me 5 coffees. They didn't buy me a coffee. Whoever did that, thank you. I don't know who it was. It's anonymous. It was anonymous.
Yeah, I got to start utilizing that because I don't promote any of my links. I'm terrible at it.
Well, there's so much to do. I mean, you're actually running like OBS, right? So there's like I mean, the only thing I do is literally hit StreamYard, hit a few buttons, and basically the only thing I have to worry about is talking into the camera and being somewhat funny at times, possibly.
I'm thinking about just using StreamYards for the open rooms. I'm going to have 2 on Saturday, and it's like, it's really, when you're running OBS, it's super hard to pay attention to the chat, so it's like, I think just running simple StreamYard will make it a lot easier for me to actually pay attention to what the chat's saying.
I can see that.
Well, when I come onto a StreamYard panel like this, I open the YouTube chat in like a separate window. I like the pop-out chat. And then I pay attention to what's going on in the room, and every once in a while I'll look over at the YouTube chat.
Well, that's smart.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
with OBS, I have so many different programs running. It's
I don't even know how you guys do that with OBS. I mean, I don't know. My hat's off to you.
It's a bitch.
Yeah.
I'm going to refill my coffee. I'll be right back.
Okay, Rach, before you go.
Yeah.
I'm going to close up shop early today because I have to go to work.
Oh, all right. Cool.
Oh, Andy got a job.
I'm trying to get out of work, and nobody's.
Mikey Famine. Maybe I'll stay here for a few minutes because Mikey Famine's in the house.
Oh, it's Mikey.
Haven't seen you for a while, Mikey.
What's up, Mikey?
Good morning. You guys get my sleepy, sexy voice.
Wow. I like
hello
sleepy.
there.
It's like velvet. It's like velvet without caffeine. I love it.
I'm charging by the cup.
All right.
Well, how you doing?
I was up super late doing videos, and now here I am rendering the video and uploading it. So,
no, that's fair enough.
I understand.
I hate the taskbar while rendering. I always hate it because it lies. It lies.
It lies. And I was like, I'll do this video thing, and then I'll be up and I'll head it over to the DMV like I said I was going to. It was like 6:15, and I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I just gave up. I was a little kid fighting to go to bed, but
I find 2 cups of coffee in the morning keeps me motivated till at least 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when I start trailing off.
I'm down to 3 cups a day. I was at 2 cups a day for a couple weeks, but I'm back up to 3. But I don't do any more than 3. I've been told I have to quit all caffeine. It's like I'm just quitting all the good stuff in my life. It sucks.
How's the smoking,
doctor? They told me I needed to quit drinking and smoking, and I was like, "Fuck that."
Yeah, that's what I've been told. I have to.
Yeah,
but I pretty much have to because of the whole COVID thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. So how's your smoking? Going?
I haven't smoked a cigarette in forever. I just smoke like 3 times more weed now.
Yes, you trade off one for the other.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like nonstop smoking weed. It's kind of I don't know. I'm going to be quitting that too, though. So that's the last thing I'm going to quit.
Never give up. Never surrender.
When I have lowered my caffeine amounts, I found that drinking something else, like let's say green tea helped, or drinking half caffeine, half non-caffeinated coffee, which we'll do at your local coffee shop. That's helped.
Yeah, I've always found decaf nasty for some reason, but I think it's a psychological thing. So I'm going to try to train my brain to accept it.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is. It's brain training. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Oh well.
If that's all that's in the house.
Yeah, if that's all you can get your hands on, you take what you can get. That's what I did. I took the little Sanka packets. When I was in basic training, I would like snatch like 4 or 5 and stick them in my pocket. We weren't supposed to be drinking coffee, but it's decaf, and I mean, yeah, it's mostly psychological.
Mm-hmm.
And I mix it up in my little canteen thing and drink it through the day, and you know.
Yeah, I've been able to overcome those, like, because my parents never made me eat vegetables, so I've never been a vegetable eater. So like once a month now, I train myself to eat a new vegetable. It's
broccoli is great. Broccoli and cauliflower with cheese on it, great.
My daughter eats them just without any, she can eat vegetables, which is, a good thing for her, because it's always been an issue with me.
My girlfriend's horrified at my choice of vegetables. I come home with a can of cream style corn, and it's like, Andy, what the hell is that? It's like right from the can. It's like, that's not really a vegetable. I know it's not really a vegetable, but I still like cream style corn. It's not a vegetable.
It's close enough. Yeah, it's close enough. Cover some slack.
And when I learned that,
it's like eating rice. It's like eating rice and saying rice is a vegetable. It's the same as rice.
It grows in the ground, doesn't it?
Yes.
I hate it.
Like wheat. Wheat is a vegetable.
Wheat is. I like that.
Yeah, there you go.
It's good for you. So it has to be a vegetable.
One of the things that I just found like in the last year or so is riced vegetables. The frozen section, dude, you throw on some riced broccoli, it is like the perfect texture.
Yeah.
You throw like a little dash of some seasoned salt on there or some shit. It's the best thing you've ever had. And it's like, why did it take so long for this shit to come out? If I had this shit as a kid, I would be over the moon.
Well, I blame it on Big Rice myself.
Big Rice.
Uncle Ben.
Well, all you got to do is throw a little cheese on top of it, and that's all good. Whatever it is, I don't care what it is. You throw a little bit of cheese on top of it.
Yeah, cheese forgives all sins.
There you go.
Our patron's cheese saint, the Cheez-It trolls. I don't know whoever makes those.
Cheez-Its? Hang on, I got a box around here.
Right. All right. So, Mikey, I'm sorry I have to close up shop.
Oh yeah, I'm out of here.
Just when you're here, when you got here. But I do have to go to work. I do have to eat before going to work, and I have to I don't go to work like this. I go to work in other clothes, and so there are many things I have to do to transition to work. But thanks for popping on, man.
No problem, brother.
And Rage, you might be out copying yourself. I mean, I don't know. I made it sound dirty. I made that sound dirty.
The old Rage coffee. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Last cup.
All right. So thanks for coming on Clockwork Rex 2. Thanks for everyone in the chat. We're busting out. I'll be here tomorrow doing Atheist Drinking Out Loud. You get to see me talk funny words and get drunk, along with Neil the 604 Atheist and Seamus. So take care, everyone.
Hey, drop a link to that, because I know Neil. I'm supposed to be on the day before my birthday on his show.
Okay. I don't have the show set up yet because I'm lazy and I'm busy. Yeah.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. Just
but I'll blow it up on, I'll blow it up on the Facebook pages and on the Twitter pages and all on my Twitter account and all that other stuff. And I'm sure Neil will too. Neil's pretty good about tweeting it, as well as Seamus.
Okay, fair enough. Sounds
cool.
Good.
All right, take care, everyone.
All right, y'all take care.